Hold up, okay? My son wants his favorite snack in the entire world. I told y'all. What's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today I do have a story time for you guys because it is Thursday. We be turning up on Thursdays. I hope you guys are so excited for this story time. I actually thought about this randomly out of nowhere the other day and I was like, yes, I need to tell that story today. We're going to be talking about the time that Ariel got a diamond ring. She was like only 12. If I'm remembering this correctly, hold up, because I don't want to lie to y'all. Yes, she had to have been 12. So if you guys would like to hear about the story about how she got this diamond ring, and I'm talking about like a big rock, please keep on watching. Before we get into this video, I know it's a little bit different because I switched out the backdrop. I honestly just got tired of seeing the same old, same old. I just got sick of looking at it, okay? So hopefully you guys don't mind this. I thought, it matches with my lipstick and stuff. We're just gonna jump right into the story time, but before we do, as per usual, today's glamour shot of the day is my beautiful Glamazon Brie and her gorgeous son. She sent me this photo on my Twitter and I was just like, oh my god. The minute that I saw both of them, I was just like dying. Thank you so much, Brie, for being one of my diehard Glamazons and loving me and supporting me no matter what. You guys know that I would not be here without you and I could not do this without each and every one of you guys. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now let's get into this story time. This will be in addition to my Ho Stepsister series, but of course I can't title it that because y'all already know the deal. I'm not allowed to title my videos what I want to. This story takes place when I was still at my shitty school. I had actually just transferred over there. I was still a freshman, so I was like 14 going on 15 at this time. Ariel and I didn't really have a whole lot to do, and we went to church together. We would go to like little church events. We would go to the movies. We would go to the mall. We were in that weird age where we couldn't do a whole lot, so we did the same things over and over. And one of the things that we always did was we went to this place called Skate City. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a roller skating rink, right? So Ariel and I would go there all the time, and a lot of our friends would go there. Like I said, we were all in this weird age where we really couldn't do much, and our parents were fine with us going to this Skate City place. They were like, can't get into no trouble over there, and there were adults and stuff, they thought, okay? So we used to go to Skate City all the time. So this was the point in our relationship that we were trying, for the sake of our parents, we were legitimately trying to hang out with each other and be as close to sisterly as we possibly could, right? She had come home after school one day and she was like, hey, my friends were talking about this, there was some event going on at Skate City. They had theme nights, and so she was like, this event's going on at Skate City this weekend. Friends are gonna go. She's like, have you heard of it? Do you want to go? I was like, yeah, I'm totally down to go. So we decided to ask our parents that night at dinner, and they were like, okay, well, if you guys clean your room and do this and do that, then yeah, we'll drop you off or whatever. At this point in time, Ariel had this little boy at school, and we will name him Josh or something. So Josh was this little kid that was in her grade. Now, I've mentioned this before. Ariel had to repeat a grade in elementary school, so that means that she was older than all the kids in her grade. So this little kid was almost a year younger than her, but he was in her grade, and they just had a crush on each other. I don't think they were dating, but she used to talk about him all the time, right? So before we had gone to Skate City, it was that Friday, she started talking to me about this other guy. It wasn't Josh, it was somebody completely new. And so she talks to me about this other guy. We'll name him Alex. She starts going into detail about why she likes him. He's funny, he's smart, he's sweet, he's got all of these great attributes. Okay, yes, okay. She used to say this type of shit about every little boy that she was talking to. He was the greatest thing in the world at the moment, right? I was painting my toes or something where my attention wasn't directly on her, but I was just you know how you do with your girlfriends or your sister, you're yeah, you're talking, but whatever. She starts going off about how great this guy Alex is or whatever, and I'm just yes, okay. And I heard that he comes from a rich family. Skirt, skirt! What you mean? What do you mean a rich family? That immediately got my attention. I was like, hold up, what? So I was like, what do you mean rich? And she was like rich. Smells like bullshit to me. Here's why. Because we weren't in a rich neighborhood. We were not going to rich people's schools. why would somebody that's like rich or wealthy put their child in our schools? They're shitty schools. I was like, did he tell you that? She was like, no, I've been hearing it from like the kids at our school that know him. He look rich? And she was like, I don't know, he doesn't look poor. I called her out on it. I was like, hold up. I was like, be real with me. I was like, are you talking to this little boy because you think he's rich? And she goes, no. And so she immediately got offended. She was like, no, Nikki, I'm not just about that, okay? I'm not that shallow. Okay, Ariel, whatever. You're gonna find out that this boy ain't rich, and it's gonna be hilarious. At this point, you know, she's got her eyes set on him. That other little boy, Josh, don't even exist no more, okay? Like, away with you. She was like, you honestly don't think that there's a chance that he's rich? And I was like, no. And she goes, fine. I asked him if he was gonna be at Skate City this weekend, and he told me yeah. And I was like, okay. So, I want you to meet him. She was like, and then you tell me whether or not you think that he's rich. Okay, well, like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to tell. I mean, I feel like people that have a lot of money carry themselves a certain way. Like, it's just different, right? She was like, because I bet you money he is rich. Are you going to bet his money or yours? She was like, shut up! So, like, we're just joking around, and she was like, you know, I just want you to meet him, and you tell me if you think that this little boy's rich. I was like, fine. So we make this bet, and I'm going to meet this little kid the next day at Skate City. Apparently my sister is trying to get with this rich little kid, and like, I'm not buying it. Like, I'm sorry. There are like private schools, charter schools, like all types of other schools. Literally damn near everybody at our school lived in the same area and the same like little apartments. You want to know why? Because none of us were rich. So like, why would this little kid that's like super rich be at our school? It smells like bullshit. Ariel and I, we start getting ready, we get all cute, especially her. She's trying to get herself a rich man. Go inside, we get our tickets or whatever, and we go in there together. We walk over to the skate rental line, and she and I are just standing there, and the whole time, you know, she's just scanning the room. We get our skate rentals, you know, like those round benches that they have in the skating rinks where you sit down to put on your skates, right? So she was like right next to me, and her little friends came up, and she was like talking to them, and I had met up with one of my girlfriends from my shitty school, so I'm having my own convo with her, but we're literally right next to each other, right? I overhear Ariel asking her friend, hey, have you seen Alex? Her friend was like, no, I haven't seen him. Why are you meeting him here? So Ariel was like, yeah, you know, I told him I was going to be here, and like, you know, I just want to meet up with him and say, hey, what's up? And so her friend like started questioning her, and like, you know that friend that you have sometimes where like, you know, they kind of low-key shade you. Like, that was the kind of friend that Ariel had. And so she was like, what happened with Josh? And Ariel was like, I don't know, we just like stopped talking, because like they weren't dating, they were never dating. That little girl was like, dang girl, you used to be talking to everybody. I ended up like looking over there, and I looked dead ass in that little girl's face like, stop it. And she and I locked eyes. Say one more word to my sister. Say one more word to her about shit that ain't none of your business, and we're gonna have a problem. Like, stop it. So the night goes on, and you know, fast forward, I would say probably about an hour. We had been skating and then getting off the rink and then getting back on and getting back off, you know, like that. We're skating and we're going, and you know, you gotta really be careful. There are people that suck at skating that you gotta like kind of maneuver through. There are people that are really badass at skating that are like maneuvering through you. Like, there are people that done fail, and you gotta make sure you don't like crash into them, you know, so you have to like be paying attention. When Ariel was like skating, she had turned her head to like look at everyone that was on the side of the ring to see if she could find this boy. In the process, she ended up accidentally bumping into this girl, right? And so I saw it happen, and I saw Ariel like looking this way, and she accidentally bumped into this girl, right? I just see that girl turn around. Now keep in mind, Ariel didn't make her fall. Ariel didn't make her look stupid. It was honestly just like a bump, like, oh crap, but they both like kept their balance. Everything was fine. Turns around and she starts literally cussing Ariel out. And so I was like, what the hell is up with everybody? Like, I just felt like everybody that night was just trying to start shit with Ariel. Like, for the first time, Ariel was like just minding her own business, and it was an accident. Like, that's why it's called that. It's called an accident, because it was an accident. So a good 30 seconds passes, and then this girl is still cussing Ariel out. You need to watch where you're going, and do you have a problem? You shouldn't be out here if you ain't gonna be paying attention. I can't stand girls like you, or whatever. She's like putting on a show, you guys, and I'm like, this is stupid. So I skate over to them, and Ariel, come on, let's go. And so I like hooked my arm through Ariel's and we start skating off. That girl, she starts talking shit to me. She's like, I can't stand you anyway. I heard about you at school, you know, Miss New Girl or whatever. I've been at school for like 3 months now. Like, if you still consider me new, like, you're stupid. We went to schools that weren't filled with the nicest of people. So like, you know, shit talking was kind of like the norm. But for some reason this night, Ariel just couldn't handle it and she ended up crying. I immediately take her to the bathroom because I don't want anybody seeing her cry. I don't want anybody making fun of her. Like, obviously something's happening. I don't know. She was like, I just feel like people are being like bitches to me tonight and like I don't know what's going on and blah blah blah. And she was just having a bad night, right? She has her cry moment. The bathroom starts getting pretty crowded. So we leave and we go out to the like little area where it's like the concession stand and stuff and they have tables. Out of nowhere, Ariel grabbed my arm and she goes, oh my god, he's here. I like look over and I see this kid walking through the door. He's a cutie. He's like a cute kid. He wasn't ugly at all. And so I was like, oh, he's cute. He had like this little baby face. And so he starts scanning the room the minute that he comes in and he locks eyes with Ariel. And so Ariel like tenses up and like everybody at the table kind of gets quiet, especially her little friends. She starts walking over to our table and I'm like, So like, you know, I start doing the up and down and the, you know, trying to figure him out. The big question is he rich? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you know, designer anything? Like, is there anything about him that seems like he comes from like money? And there really wasn't. Boys wore t-shirts and sweatpants and like Jordans or whatever, so that's like what he had on. The rest of the night he was skating with just Ariel. Like, you could tell his focus was just on her, and like it made me pretty happy because she was already having such a shitty night. Ariel's birthday was coming up, and so she had gone to school that week at some point. I don't know, I don't remember exactly what day. But I get home from school one day and I see this huge gift bag in our room. And so she's sitting on her bed and I come in and I set down my backpack or whatever. And I look over and I was like, what's that? And she was like, it's my birthday gift. And I was like, from who? You guys, it was one of those like gift bags that like it's huge, like it's like a small child. You guys, it seemed like he had walked into Bath and Body Works and just bought everything, like body sprays, body lotion, candles, candle holders, like all types of shit, like the little shimmery body shit, like all kinds of shit. Like, he bought her like entire collections, okay? You know, like the scent collections, okay? Yes. Now keep in mind, this little kid's like 11, all right? So like, how you managed to get this entire gift bag and like full of Bath and Body Works stuff for my sister? I want to say her birthday was like that weekend, so he gave it to her at school because like obviously they weren't going to see each other. So she was like, yeah, you know, gave it to me in front of all my friends and like, you know, I just can't believe it and he's so sweet or whatever, right? I stand corrected, okay? Because how this kid can manage to get all of it, y'all already know Bath and Body Works is not cheap, okay? Especially for an 11-year-old kid. Ariel keeps talking to him and like a few weeks go by and you guys, literally damn near every day she was coming home with something new. She just would show up with like the most random things. Like, he would give her candles, keychains, like the lanyards that had the rhinestones all around it, you know, just like little gifts. Like almost every day he was giving her something, right? So fast forward and Valentine's Day came around. At this time, Alicia and I were already friends. Like, we weren't best friends yet, but we were pretty close. And so she knew about Ariel and her new man's, or close to being man's, Alex. And so I remember on the bus, we were like, you know, what do you think he got her? Like, so we start, you know, going back and forth. I wonder if he got her some more candles. I wonder, you know, like, what could he have possibly gotten her? Like, he's been getting her everything, right? I go home and I walk into her room and I'm expecting like some grand gift and like, you know, like some big old gift bag, something. And like, I didn't see anything. And Ariel wasn't in the room. She was in the bathroom, right? Like a good 10-15 minutes passed and I was like, what the hell? Like, what are you doing? Like, she wasn't taking a shower or anything. So I was like, what are you doing? I went to go knock on the bathroom door and I was like, hey, I was like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. And she just sounded kind of panicky. And I was like, what's the matter? And she's like, nothing. And I was like, Ariel. So like, I started talking to her through the door and I'm like, are you okay? So immediately I'm like, are you sick? Like, is something going on? Like, I immediately start going into like worst possible scenario mode. She finally opens the door and like, she's just standing there. So I'm like looking around, did she throw up? Like, are you bleeding? Like, are you dying? What is going on? She takes me back to our room. And you know, back then we had the 2 twin beds. that were on opposite ends of the room. So she sits on her bed and I sit on mine, and she sits down and she had these sweatpants on. Like every time we came home from school, that was the first thing we put on, right? I don't know. She's like, I just don't know how to feel right now. And I was like, why? And she reached into her pocket and she pulled out this box, and it was a jewelry box, like a ring box, okay? And it was like leather and it looked so expensive. I got this from Alex today. And I was like, okay. And she goes, I don't know how to feel about it. And I was like, why? I said, what is it? Tossed it to me. So I caught it and I opened this box, you guys. It was like legit one of the biggest diamond rings I had ever laid my eyes on. Like huge. And it was gorgeous. It was a gorgeous ring. And I was like, and she was like, I don't, and she just kind of sat there and she just was like doe-eyed, and she was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know. Guys, this shit looked like it was an engagement ring, like a straight up engagement ring, okay? What the hell is going on? I said, did he propose to you? And she goes, no. She was like, but he did tell me that that ring belonged to his grandma. What? I was like, Ariel, no, you need to give this back. And she was like, I tried to, but he said that he really, really wanted me to have it. And I was like, oh my God, Ariel, you can't keep this. I was like, there's no way that you can keep this. This looks like a really expensive ring. And Nikki, I'm telling you, all day he and I were going back and forth, and I kept trying to give it back to him. I literally gave it back to him. He put it into my backpack and I found it when I got home. And I was like, what? She was like, he will not take it back. She was like, now I don't know what to do with it. And I was like, why? If my dad finds this ring on me or in our room, he's gonna know something's up. It's not like I can wear it out or anything. And she was right. There was no way, you guys, that our parents were not gonna like notice this damn ring, okay? There was like this little box that she had on one of our shelves, and it was like one of those things that like you don't even look twice at. And she put the ring in there. I couldn't believe it. Like, I was like, you for real got this huge ass diamond engagement ring that's like a family heirloom. Like, your 12-year-old ass got this. Like, I can't believe it, right? I think that him giving her that ring really freaked her out. And like, you know, at first it was like cute and oh my God, you know, he's showering me with gifts, but she's 12. So like, he gave her this huge diamond ring, and like, she's just like freaking out. And so she just was like, I don't know. You could tell something switched in her, like immediately, and she was just freaked out. Shortly thereafter, after we went back and forth about what she should do about this diamond ring, we had gone to the mall, and it was just she and I. We had hopped on the RTD, and she was just being really quiet and really weird that day. Met up with some friends. Like, I met up with Alicia, and she met up with one of her little friends from middle school, and we ended up going our separate ways because she was kind of acting weird. Like, and by weird, I mean like kind of bitchy. Like, she just didn't really want to talk to me, and like, I was like, okay, you're obviously having your off day, you got an attitude, like, bye, right? All that we went to wasn't really that big. Alicia and I were walking around. She and I had been talking about this kid, and like, I told her about that ring or whatever, and she was like, what the hell? And I was like, you know, I just feel like she should give it back. And you know, Alicia was like, yeah, but how does she? Like, if he keeps saying that he wants her to have it. And I was like, yeah, but like, why does he want her to have it so badly? And then like, they just like stopped talking. I was like, this entire thing is so weird, right? In the corner of my eye, I see Ariel, and I can see like her shirt, and I recognize her, right? And her back is towards me, and her little ass was inside of a jewelry store. I saw her and her little friend, and they were standing at the counter in this jewelry store. So I grabbed Alicia, I was like, we're going in there. And so we walk over there, and I walk up on Ariel. Sure enough, she has the box that has the big ass ring in it. And I was like, what are you doing? I just want to see how much it's worth. And I was like, oh my God. This older lady came up to the counter, and you know, she's all confused. We're all very, very young teenage girls, and we're sitting here, and she walks up to the counter, and she looks at the ring, and she just looked so confused. And she was like, can I help you girls? Like, I just want to see like how much this ring is worth. I don't know if she just thought that we stole it from somebody. I'm sure it looks so sketch that we were all like so young. She was just like, okay, I'll be right back. Oh my gosh, she's gonna call the police. She's gonna think we stole this from somebody. So she comes back with this kit. It's like a little mini telescope. So she grabs a stool, and she sits down on the other side of the counter, and she grabs the ring. And we're like all holding our breath, right? She starts looking at it and like looking at all the details, and she's just staying really quiet. and she places the ring back into the box and she slides it over to Ariel and she goes, "That's not a real diamond." You guys, we were speechless. We were speechless, and like Ariel just turned red in the face. We leave and you could just see that older lady. She was like, oh my gosh, she just started shaking her head like these kids, you know, coming in here with this fake ass ring. She's pissed. She's like pissed. She's so embarrassed. She was like, all this time, like I thought that it was real. I was like, well, I was like, you know, we should have known. I was like, you know, Ariel, he's like 11. I was like, there's no way that he could have, you know, gotten his hands on this real ass diamond and like given it to you. She's like, yeah, but he had this story about it being his grandma's. It very well could have been, you know, it's called costume jewelry, you know, it ain't real. And so she was just like so pissed. I don't know why, but there were sometimes like if we had an appointment or if like my mom was on our side of town, my mom would be like, hey, go meet me at Ariel's school and I'm gonna pick both of you guys up. Like that, it happened very rarely, but on this day it happened. And so I got a text from my mom and she was like, hey, I'm gonna be picking you guys up today. Don't get on the bus. I already told Ariel, and like meet me at her school. Go inside her school and I go to like the little area that I know that she usually is in when I have to go meet her there. Nowhere to be found. So I'm like, okay. Go to the girls' bathroom. I look in there. I see one of the girls that I know knows Ariel, right? And so I go up to her and I'm like, hey, have you seen my sister? Oh yeah, she's outside on the side of the school talking to that kid Alex. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, that's weird. I walk up and they are arguing, like yelling at each other. And she was like, I cannot believe you did that. You lied to me or whatever. Like, you know, it was just supposed to be a gift. Like, what does it matter? And she was like, it matters because you told me that it was real. And he was like, who cares? And she was like, obviously you did because you lied to me and you told me that it was real. So they're going back and forth. And so, you know, I was like, Ariel, she cannot be arguing with some little boy over a ring when my mom pulls up. Like, we need to go, right? Like, I need not have my mother drive up and skirt and all this is happening and all the tea is spilt and it's all over the place. Like, I can't have that. So I was like, Ariel. And she looked over, I was like, come on. I was like, we need to go. We go back towards the front of the school, right? And he ends up following because like, where else is he gonna go? And in front of her school, there were like these big planters, like these huge cement, like planters that have these trees in them. And so we would sit on those planters to wait for my mom to come up and give us a ride. We go and we sit there and Alex is still out there. I thought he was gonna go back into the school, but like apparently he was waiting for a ride too. So all awkward, he goes and sits on the other like planter and we're just like in silence because Ariel doesn't want to talk around him. Like, we're within earshot of him. And so I'm just like, okay, this is awkward. So like this car rolls up and I just see this young blonde girl driving this car and she drives up and it was like a roundabout, you know, like so that they can pick up the kids. And so this Toyota drives in and comes up to the roundabout and parks, right? Alex hops off the planter and he heads over to that car. So the whole time he still has the ring box in his hand. He didn't put it in his pocket, he didn't put it in his backpack, he still has it like in his hand, right? So he walks over to that car and you guys, that girl that was driving, the blonde girl, she like jumps out of the car. She comes around and she goes, what is that? And she like pointed at his hand and she goes, what is that, Alex? She grabbed it and I was like, oh shit. So like me and Ariel are like just sitting there like, ooh, you little shit. And she starts yelling at him and she's like, you stole this from grandma. He kind of like looks back at us and like, you know, oh shit. I cannot believe that you stole from our grandma. She was like, get your ass in the car. I didn't steal it from her. She told me that I could have it. She's like, you keep stealing other people's shit just like you stole all of my other stuff from your little girlfriends. All the tea was getting spilled. You're the one who stole my birthday gifts. Like, again, he like looks back and he's, you know, all my Bath and Body Works stuff, stuffed animals from my boyfriend. She was like, where is it, Alex? Where did you put it? She was like, I can't believe you. I'm gonna beat your ass. And like they start fighting, right? And he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I look at Ariel and I'm like, oh my God, this little boy has for real been stealing from his family to give you gifts. So, you know, Ariel's already pissed. Like, she's pissed from being in this, like, argument with him from before. So she gets up and she was like, yes, he did. She was like, I know where all that stuff is at because he gave it to me. What? And she looked over at Alex. She goes, what do you mean? And Ariel was like, my birthday came around and, like, every day he was coming to school with gifts for me. I had no idea. He said that he got them for me. She was like, but I did get, like, this huge stuffed animal and I got all of these Bath and Body Works stuff. You guys, this girl lost her shit. She for real grabbed her little brother by the hair, okay, and like literally like swung him around, and she was like trying to slap him. It was the funniest shit I'd ever seen in my life. And she opened the door and she literally like just threw his little ass into the front seat, and she slammed the door. She looked at Ariel. She was like, I hope you enjoyed my birthday gifts. And Ariel was like, I'm so sorry. Like, my brother just steals everything. She was like, so make sure you hide your shit here at school because he might steal it. And so she goes right back around the car. She gets into the driver's seat, and like they just speed off, and you can just see her going off in the front seat, just like going at him. This entire time that Ariel was getting these gifts from this little boy, he was legitimately just stealing from his family, like every day. And this little boy went as far as to steal an entire gift bag from his sister for her birthday, and that gift bag was from her boyfriend. Like, she was older than us. She had to have already been graduated, okay? Ariel was just like, I cannot believe this. Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, he for real stole from his sister, his grandma, and whoever else in his family, and I have all their shit. In the moment, it was just like ridiculous, and Ariel was so pissed, but it was so funny. We ended up laughing about this like a year or two later, and she was like, do you remember that kid that was stealing from his family and shit, like giving me their stuff? She kept all the Bath and Body Works stuff, like why wouldn't you? But she threw away the stuffed animal, like she threw away everything else that he had given her. That is the story about the time that my sister got a diamond ring, or so we thought. In all actuality, she just had a klepto boyfriend that just liked to steal shit from his family. Definitely make sure that you know where the gifts are coming from when you get gifts from dudes or from like anybody, because you never know, they could just be like stealing from their entire family and just bringing it to you. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give me a huge thumbs up. Let me know down below, have you ever dealt with a klepto, like somebody that just can't stop stealing? Or let me know if you guys have ever been given jewelry and told that it was real and then found out that it wasn't. Let me know down below. Thank you guys so much for joining me for story time today. I love you guys so much. If you aren't already subscribed to my channel, please don't forget to hit that huge subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that little notification bell while you're down there so you don't miss out on any videos. And guys, will see some new videos coming up soon. But thank you guys so much for joining me for story time today. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Peace out.